Committee Secretary Rolando Bautista, NCIP Executive Director Rogelio Francisco M. Batayan Jr., and PPB COO Maria Antoinette Velasco Aliones. Good day. I am delighted and honored to be among you today for the launch of Project Epanao, the journey of our indigenous peoples. This epic three-volume set undertaken by the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples with the support of the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Promotions Board is a timely and relevant exploration on the importance of indigenous cultural communities and indigenous peoples have in our society. While IPs account for 16% of the Philippine population, they have been discriminated against, repressed, marginalized, and taken advantage of in their own land. The Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997 sought to address many of these injustices, recognizing 37 specific rights on various aspects such as property ownership, employment, belief systems, self-governance, and empowerment, among others. While much has been accomplished in the 24 years since Republic Act number 8371 came into being, it has been hard to shake off the misinformation, untrue myths, or unjust stereotypes that the general public have about indigenous peoples. It will take a monumental effort to reshape the old and entrenched ways of thinking, but Project EPANAW bids to accomplish exactly that, and in the process, encourage more Filipinos to protect and stand up for the rights of all IPs in this great diverse nation. Covering 101 IP groups in the country, Project Epanaw's three books, Pagkilala, Paggalang, and Pagtaguyod, aims to present a true and accurate picture of Philippine indigenous peoples, giving readers a better understanding of our fellow countrymen and women, revealing who they are, the important aspects of their culture, justice system, and way of life. The book series also provides insight on the critical role IPs have in maintaining the ecological balance of the nation as they are stewards of the environment, protecting our natural wonders from the dangers of overdevelopment and unsustainable ways of life. With a long-term vision of the Department of Tourism being focused on sustainable tourism development, the nation's IPs and indigenous cultural communities are our frontline ambassadors in this sphere, setting a worthy example for righteous, equitable, and fair community-based tourism. As we give our IPs the recognition, respect, and promotion they deserve, they can ably contribute toward rebuilding a better tourism industry in the Philippines, one that is strong, resilient, sustainable, and inclusive. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat of the Department of Tourism para po sa mensahe ng pakikiisa. Also sending us her solidarity message, Tourism Promotions Board Chief Operating Officer, Attorney Maria Antoinette Velasco Aliones. Let's watch this.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yung ating...
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead, okay. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Una kong babatiin ang aking matagal na naging katrabaho sa Department of National Defense, now National Security Advisor, General Esperancer. Sayang, na-miss ko kayo. Just like you, I took an RT-PCR test and came back with a negative result. Unfortunately, some of the TPB staff tested positive nung Friday. So na-expose ako sa kanila at dahil mahal ko kayo, sabi ko, hindi ako magre-risk, no? Para kayo ay ma-expose din. So magbuti na pong nag-iingat tayo ngayong panahon na ito. May isang popular na proverb that says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." And nakakatuwa na yung gathering natin ngayong hapon reminds me of this saying as we launch the 3 coffee table books under the Bonner Project of Epanao. Lingid sa kaalaman ninyo, last year, when I assumed as TPB's Chief Operating Officer, ito ang kauna-unahang project that I personally committed to, and I had marami kaming dialogues ni na Chair Allen, si Sir George Rabusa ng NCIP, along with the technical staff, kung paano ma-realize yung vision na ma-document natin yung richness of the diversity and uniqueness of our ICCs and IPs across the country. At nung kami ay nag-agree that we will pursue this project, dumating ang pandemya. And so at this point, I would like to really congratulate, as mentioned by Secretary Esperon, a lot of very committed people took the courage to push the project to completion through the pandemic. Yung members ng ating editorial board, yung creative staff, yung ating technical team, yung writers, yung admin support, yung mga photographers, lahat ng mga taong nag-collate ng mga pictures, nag-conduct ng interviews, kahit na po maraming parte ng bansa na naka-lockdown, saludo po ako sa inyong lahat. At alam ko rin, dahil tayo ay palaging nagmi-meeting ng mga panahon na yon, na each step of the way ay pinagtulong-tulungan natin para mabuo itong 3 volumes na sabi nga natin ay first phase ng project at meron pa itong mga susunod pang ugnayan para sa recognition, respect, and promotion of our IP's rights, culture, and heritage. Hindi ko na uulitin ang mga binanggit ni Secretary Berna kanina dahil yun naman po talaga yung aming sinusundan na panuntunan or balangkas sa aming pag-promote ng turismo sa bansa na sana ito ay paraan, it's a way by which we support resilient, inclusive, and sustainable tourism. Moving forward, I reiterate the TPB's solid commitment to sustain the partnership with the NCIP. Naalala siguro ni Commissioner Navarro last year, nung una kaming nagkita sa opisina ng NCIP, tinanong niya ako, "Why, Commissioner, baka hindi mo maalala yung tanong sa akin." Sabi niya sa akin, "Anong tribo ka ba?" So napaisip ako, oo nga no, ano bang tribo ko? So nakakatuwa na sa kultura natin ay meron tayong kinikilalang iba't ibang tribo. Pero ang aking hangad at dasal na sa pagpapatuloy ng ating shared advocacy dito sa movement na ito ay hindi lang ma-recognize natin yung uniqueness ng iba't ibang tribo, kundi titingnan natin na bilang mga Pilipino, isang tribo tayo at the end of the day. And I hope that we continue to align our aspirations. May 3 S lang akong gustong banggitin sa alignment of aspirations na yon. Una ay yung alignment natin for sustainability. As mentioned by many, our indigenous people, sila yung last bastion, the last frontier of taking care of our natural resources and enriching them and cultivating our land. Also, the second S is our stewardship. Lahat po tayo ay dumaraan lang dito sa resources that we have right now. And the heritage that is shared by our IPs is one that is passed on from one generation to the next. So sana ay patuloy tayong maging partners sa pag-pursue ng heritage ng ating IPs. And finally, the final S, of course, is shared service. Bilang mga pinuno, lingkod bayan sa gobyerno, I'm sure kaya nandyan din si Secretary Esperon dahil he recognizes the role of fostering the rights of our indigenous peoples in pursuing peace and development for the country. So in the end, all of our agency mandates, goals, and aspirations hopefully will all converge as a shared service sa ating bansa, sa ating mga mamamayang Pilipino, sa ating mga indigenous peoples, at sa bawat isa na may malasakit sa ating bayan. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng tumulong at nag-ambag dito sa proyektong ito. Congratulations sa inyong lahat. Again, my salute, and I look forward to our sustained partnership in the days and years ahead. Mabuhay!
Maraming Maria Antoinette Velasco Aliones for that inspiring message. At sa lahat po ng kawani at lingkod bayan mula sa Tourism Promotions Board na partner po ng National Commission of Indigenous Peoples sa pagbuo nitong ating coffee table books, ang ating 3 volumes of coffee table books. We are really glad, to have around us here today several of our partners to grace our occasion. To introduce us to another of our guests of honor, it is our pleasure to call on Executive Director Rogelio Francisco Bantayan Jr. of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples.
As National Director Program Manager and one of the poverty alleviation programs of the ESWD. Ikalai sits the National Community-Driven Development Program. She is registered social worker by profession and obtained her undergraduate degree in social work from St. Louis University in Baguio and her master's degree from the University of the Philippines. She has been in government since service, particularly to the ESWD, for more than 3 decades, but also served as BOD of the NGOs and taught social work at CCDC. She started working